What happens when you buy 10 goats without a permit? Is it just a harmless mistake or a huge legal mess? I quickly found out when I made the decision to dive into goat farming, only to realize that I had skipped over an important step: getting the right permits. In this video, I'll take you through my journey of buying goats without the proper paperwork and the unexpected legal challenges that followed. Trust me, you won't believe what happened next. Keep watching to find out. Number 1. The unexpected beginning. It all started with a simple idea: to start my own goat farm. Goats seemed like the perfect choice for a beginner farmer. They're hardy, low maintenance, and ideal for both meat and milk production. After researching a bit online and hearing how others had succeeded with goats, I was convinced this was the right move. So, without giving much thought to the legal side of things, I bought 10 goats from a local seller. I was excited about starting my own small farm and didn't anticipate any issues. The goats were healthy, lively, and ready to settle into their new home. I set up a small pen for them in my backyard, ensuring they had enough space to roam and graze. For the first few days, everything went smoothly, and I was thrilled to see my goats settling in. It felt like the beginning of something special. Little did I know, I had completely overlooked the legal requirements needed to own livestock in my area. I was about to learn the hard way that farming comes with responsibilities beyond just taking care of the animals. Number 2. The first signs of trouble. A few weeks after I brought the goats home, I started noticing the first signs that things weren't as simple as I had thought. One morning, while I was feeding the goats, a local official showed up at my farm. He was polite but direct, and I immediately sensed something wasn't right. He introduced himself and explained that he was there to talk about my goats. He mentioned that keeping livestock, especially goats, required proper permits and licenses, which I didn't have. At first, I was confused. I thought owning goats was just like having any other pets or farm animals. I hadn't realized there were regulations in place to control livestock ownership, like permits and inspections. The official kindly explained that without the right paperwork, I was in violation of the law. My heart sank as I realized that what seemed like a harmless hobby was now a legal issue. The official gave me a warning and advised me to apply for the necessary permits, but it wasn't long before I understood just how serious this mistake could become. This was just the beginning of a much bigger problem. Number 3. Navigating the permit process. After the official's visit, I knew I had to act fast to fix the situation. I began the complicated process of applying for the necessary permits. The first step was to contact the local government office to find out exactly what I needed. I learned that, depending on the location, there were specific permits required for livestock like goats. I had to fill out forms providing detailed information about my property, including its size, the number of goats I had, and how I planned to care for them. I also needed to show that my property was zoned for farming and that I had enough space for the goats to live comfortably. This meant proving the goats had enough grazing area and shelter, which turned out to be a bit more complicated than I initially thought. Once I submitted my paperwork, I was told that an inspection would be scheduled. This was a stressful waiting period. I had to make sure my goats were healthy and their living conditions met all the required standards. Eventually, after a few weeks, I received the approval, but it wasn't without a lot of effort. Number 4. The impact on my neighbors. While I was navigating the permit process, I quickly realized that my new goat farm wasn't just affecting me. My neighbors started to notice the goats, and not everyone was thrilled. At first, it was the noise. Goats can be surprisingly loud, especially during the early mornings and late evenings when they're restless. Their bleating echoed through the neighborhood, drawing attention from everyone nearby. Then, there were concerns about the smell. Goats, like all livestock, require a clean living space, but if not managed well, the odor can become overwhelming. My neighbors, especially those living close by, began complaining about the unpleasant smell coming from the pen. On top of that, there were worries about potential diseases that could spread from the goats to other animals in the area. Rather than ignoring these concerns, I decided to have open conversations with my neighbors. I explained the situation, reassured them that I was taking steps to address the issues, and promised to keep the farm as clean and quiet as possible. Over time, they became more understanding, but it was definitely a learning experience about balancing farming with community living. Number 5. The legal consequences. Despite having obtained the necessary permits, I quickly learned that owning goats comes with ongoing legal responsibilities. Even after the permits were in place, I had to ensure I followed a variety of regulations, such as proper record keeping and maintaining the goat's health and welfare. The West Pakistan Goat Restriction Ordinance, 1959, was one of the key regulations that outlined the responsibilities of goat owners. It regulates everything from the movement of goats to their treatment and handling. Violating these laws can lead to heavy fines and even the confiscation of livestock. Thankfully, I made sure to stay on top of all these legal requirements. I kept records of vaccinations, health checks, and other important activities related to the goats. I also made sure to follow the rules about movement and slaughter to avoid any further complications. What I hadn't anticipated was how strict enforcement could be. A few months after getting my permits, an inspector showed up to make sure everything was in order. The visit was nerve-wracking, but everything was in compliance. It served as a reminder that farming, even with the right paperwork, requires constant vigilance to stay within the law. Any lapse in compliance could result in serious consequences. Number 6. Lessons learned. In the end, this experience taught me several valuable lessons that I'll carry with me for the rest of my farming journey. First and foremost, I learned that thorough research is crucial before diving into any business venture. Had I understood the regulations beforehand, I could have avoided the entire legal headache. Secondly, I learned the importance of patience. The permit application process was slow and sometimes frustrating, but in the end, it was worth it to ensure everything was done legally. Another key lesson was the value of communication. Addressing concerns from my neighbors in a transparent and respectful way helped to maintain good relationships, which is vital when living in a community. Lastly, I realized that owning livestock is not just about caring for the animals. It's also about respecting the rules that ensure both the animals and the environment are well taken care of. Compliance with local regulations is not only the right thing to do, but it also protects the farm and surrounding areas from potential harm. As I continue to grow my goat farm, I'm grateful for these lessons and the opportunity to make things right. Starting a goat farm without the proper permits can lead to unexpected challenges, but it's not the end of the road. With patience, determination, and a little bit of research, I turned my situation around. If you're planning to get into farming, always make sure you understand the legal requirements. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories and tips. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.